Hello, I'm Cammy G, and welcome back to our Canny Valley AFK Endurance build videos. So now we are on the southeast amplifier over here, which I believe should everybody have? That's asked as a question. I believe everybody should have this amplifier. There used to be a spawn over that direction, but they got rid of that a while ago. So we've just got the south and the east, and I'm going to start with the south up here. So this one's a bit weird because usually the spawns are right behind where the amplifier is, if there is one. But the spawn's actually really far back. They spawn on this raised bit, really far across. So we're going to do similar to what we did on Amplifier B, which is the northwest amplifier, where we had that spawn up there. We're going to split them into two routes, either side of this amplifier here, and then take them basically just straight to the amplifier on these paths. You know, there'll be plenty of room to do huge damage to them as we come down on both of these tracks. And then it allows us to block either side and force the enemies to take the path we want them to take. So if we block the front of the tunnels like this, these can be low walls to get some dynamo damage. And then if we put that, but also if we get a floor edited underneath, we can get even more resistance. Now the one in front of the amplifier here, there's not too much we can do, sadly. But if I just place this one down. In fact, we can make this one a straight one like that. And similarly at this side. What we can do is we can build a blockade in front of it like this. And if you want to as well, you can go as far as putting a cone there with an edited floor, just to really stop enemies from wanting to break through that middle bit, just because of the amplifier being there. Now it's getting close to the spawn, so this front stuff may break, but we'll be adding more blockade behind it, so don't worry about that. Now for this one here, you can see that there's no place to place a full wall behind. So we'll do two full walls here and we'll do broadsides. And then from after that, we will carry on the low wall usual stuff all the way to the end on both sides. Like this. Now, if you'd rather just do broadsides the entire way down, that's, you know, and have closed walls to save structures, feel free to do that. You know, it's a perfectly valid strategy. But we're going to do this. And then similarly at this side, going to get those low walls all the way down on both sides. Like this. And then this one will be a full wall. So we'll make that one a full wall as well to get those broadsides bouncing back and forward. Now, as I say, on the other side, you can make more of these full walls if you want. That's definitely valid. That's up to you, but we're going to carry on the full walls and do wall darts and dynamos. Now for this middle bit, as I said before, we want to block this. So we're just going to add our low walls as we do with previous iterations of this. Now at this point it's not overly important. I'd just carry the low walls on from here like this, and then when you get to this point, this is the start of the tunnel, so we'll want to block this area like this. Now because enemies can obviously spawn up the top here and walk down, we probably want to block this like this instead. And this crater moves out of the way. We'll just sort of do this like that. And this will stop any enemies from being able to get through. And then what we do behind it is we'll just have our edited cones with the grid method behind. Like so. Making sure you get every nook and cranny filled in here. Now for this one, we can just place a floor so that it has added resistance. Doesn't really matter which way around the cone goes on that one, to be honest. I appreciate this is a lot of block off, but again, it is a wide spawn, so we need to just make sure that enemies are not going to come through. So, yeah, it's quite a lot, as I say, but it will then stop the enemies from wanting to break through. Now, this little corner here, you could add another one, but just bear in mind that we want to make sure not enemies come up the bottom there, so we'll just put a wall as extra deterrent. And then outside here, just add this block off like that. This can be a full wall. Doesn't necessarily need to be a low wall. You know, it's not really that important. Then here we want to add that block off, but we also want to have another floor here because this is a location where we've had less. You know, we can't have one here. And then behind the center of it, this is where we want to, you know, either do floors or you can just do cones all the way down. But if you do see resistance at the front middle, all you need to do is just add some floors under these, but I think you should be fine without it. And then we'll add these down to here. And the same here. Then to mirror that side, we will do this. We're placing a ceiling by accident. And then this is where we started the tunnels at that side, so we can do the same here. Now, there will be spawns up here. So these guys will probably want to either come down this route or down here and then get to the amplifier this way. Now, in the past, I have built a tunnel here as well, but that then, on top of the two up here, you know, it becomes a lot. So, oops. Just want to add another cone here, though. Like that. Just want to make sure we get it all consistent. Just interrupt myself mid-thought. Like that. And then you shouldn't need any more behind this. But yeah, we need to block off this to stop enemies from wanting to come this way. You probably want to put one here as well. Like that. And if you do see, you know, stuff breaking at the front, add more back here, but I don't think you'd need it. And then we need to block off this as well. And this bit round here as well. So the enemies that do spawn around this area, we want them to, you know, they can come down here, but they'll hopefully come up this ramp and then go down the tunnel. So we just need to stop them from wanting to come this way. Now, there is this ramp here as well. So all we can do here is just extend the wall that we have on the other one. Like that. And all the way across here. Like so. And at this point, you know, they could go down there and go wherever. So we'll just add that as well. There is these paths, and there's so many different ways enemies could come round. So it's just being sensible about it and going up to any path you see that they can come round. So for example, down here, you know, they could then come down here and go up there or whatever. But at this point, if they come here, don't worry about it, because we're going to have trap tunnels here for the other direction, and this is blocked. And we'll just add some traps here if enemies did try come up that tunnel. So that should be enough. But as I say, if you do see stuff try to break through there, just add more block-offs behind this. But as I say, the only place they're going to want to come through is like here or up this ramp. So you can just add a block-off on this ramp and some here if you do see them trying to break through. But for that, now we can add some ceilings to this. So what we're going to do is have a 2 high ceiling here. or even, yeah, we'll do 2 high. Reason being is that we will then have ceiling electric fields zap into the center. So it doesn't matter too much where you start the ceilings from. But generally, I like to bring it up here, where the spawn is. And then from here, we can cover the spawns. So as I said, there is a bit on the top up here. So we'll just cover that. And then we're just going to take this all the way across. Bearing in mind that we do have this blocked, so there's not a whole lot of need for it to be covered by traps. And then go up to the block-offs here. Now you can go another one, and you can also raise it up even higher at the spawn area. So you can go up to 3 tiles. So if I just do this, oh, if I can get back up. So for the spawn traps, we will go an extra tile higher, but for the actual trap tunnels, we will be 2 blocks up. The reason being is that we will be using ceiling electric fields, which only zap down 2 tiles for the trap tunnels. But for the spawn, we'll be using tire drop traps, which go 3 tiles. So that's the reason for that. Now, we just keep consistent with that side. We can start this here. And come in across this like so. All the way to the end. Now, there is obviously this area that enemy can flank round. So just bear in mind that round this cliff, there's probably a little route that enemies can take. So they could go down this bottom track and come up that ramp. They could come across this middle track. Either way, they'd be able to get to the objective. So if we just do this here, that will block the top track. And then for the bottom track, it's up to you how you want to block it and where you want to block it. You can just do that. The only negative of doing that is you can't put a healing wall on it. So if you come down here, you can do it from here. If I just get rid of this rock real quick. Get rid of my boy Dwayne. And then a ceiling trap just to do a bit more damage if you need to. But yeah, that'll stop any enemies from being able to get round this way. It saves us having to put, loads of walls around this area. We shouldn't, need to do that with that blockade. Perfect. So now all there is to do, really, is get some spawn traps. So if we take this 1 tile higher, this will act as a lobber shield as well. But if you want to come this far and get these, just don't bother covering those center ones, but you can cover in front of them. That's definitely important to do. And then go all the way up to the block-offs and just cover round those. Now you can go another tile back if you want. If you really want to hit them when they spawn. But they're going to walk into these traps either way, so it's not overly important. And for the enemies that might want to break through these blockades, you can continue the ceiling round and basically just track the edge of it, like this, and get tire drop traps on those. It's a bit over the top. We will have wall spikes on them, and you can put other traps, so you could have like wall darts here shooting at the enemies if they did try to get in them. There's a few ways you can do it. Feel free to add those as well if you want. So just like these, cover that area, that area, that area, and then if we put a wall darts there, that'll cover this track. So that's all covered. And then all we need to do now is just the end of the tunnel. So at the moment, they're going to drop down here and then go to the objective, which is fine. That's what we want them to do. You can add side stuff here, like this, and a ceiling there. Enemies will drop here, and it's only really going to be smashers. So from here, you can probably get away with 0 build. Like, we're going to have a bait and switch if we want, you know, to deal with the smashers. So if you want to do less damage in this area, don't build anything, basically. But if you want to add anything, obviously feel free to copy what I'm doing. And it's not necessary to build a chute down here, and we can't, you know, have a proper floor at the bottom. What you can do if you want, though, is build like a artificial platform for them to go on, and then, you know, bring them out again. As I say, it's up to you how you want to go about it. Now, I'm just gonna get rid of this. Now, for the bait and switch, we can take them over this low area down here. I'm just appreciative that we have an amplifier down there, but this ramp here we can use to let the smashers come back up. But when we build the east direction, we're going to be blocking this ramp off because we don't want enemies to come through. But at the same time, we will be blocking this tunnel. So if you do need a bait and switch, what we can do is from the center of the amplifier here, if we bring them out, and then if we turn them to the side and then turn them again up here, we can then bring them like this. And then from here, we'll just go straight to the corner of the amplifier. Now the wall lights will be on this wall here, which will knock them down all the way down there. And then up here, we'll have a second one, just in case there's a lot of them, and they'll get knocked down into this area. And then they'll have quite a far way to, you know, to get back up. Then for the actual build of the bait, so if you don't know what this is, it's basically just a structure around the amplifier that makes the smashers think we're defending it, stop, you know, husks from being able to get in there. Obviously, we know this does nothing. They can just walk into the amplifier, but it tricks the smasher AI, and if they ever change this, God knows what we'll do in Twine, but, you know, to get these pillars on where the floors are, and then arches all the way around, that is your bait. So, yeah, you can add more structural support to this ladder. So if you place one here, this wall would stay here on its own. Try to find another staircase where that's applicable. So like there, for example, it's the same situation. So if that floor gets broken, for example, the whole thing stays up. So for this back here, I think what ended up happening was the spawn sort of broke this wall, and I think potentially the floor as well. I'm not sure if the enemies broke the floor or the spawn broke the floor. It's worth keeping them both in as they were, with, you know, wall spikes on. If it doesn't get broken by the spawn, it might not do on some runs, you know, because the spawns are a bit random where they place themselves. But all you need to do is just add some more blockade here at the back, like this. And what I do is also just block the top of this ramp. Now you can add more if you need to, but this is the only place I saw them break out. And once I added this midway through the Endurance, which was made out of regular metal, I didn't level it up, that stopped the enemies from breaking out, so I think that should be plenty enough. But obviously if you need more, add more. But yeah, that's your structures. Now, the only thing to mention before we get to the traps is if you are seeing lobbers being able to target the amplifier from anywhere. Now, we're very far away, but for example from here they might be able to. So all we want to do is just put these like that. And the only other place I can think they might be able to target the amplifier is over here by these block-offs. So what you can do is if you extend this ceiling here and just basically stencil the block-offs we've made like that. And then we can put tire drop traps on these as well. So one, it acts as a lobber shield, and two, that's too high up actually. Just realised we'll have to drop it down one. So right here. In fact, we can drop it here. Do that. And then from here, same thing. Cover that. And yeah, we can put tire drop traps on these. Now there is the gap here, which if enemies were stood here, they could probably target the amplifier. So just block this. I don't think they'll be able to target it from here. so don't be worried about that. Oops. This is all pretty, over the top stuff, just to make sure we don't get any unwanted issues, And you can also sort of connect these ceilings to the chutes we made, just to give it extra support. But yeah, I appreciate it's a lot for this one. This is probably the most we built on any of the amplifiers in Canny. Now, you could try get one tunnel, down some sort of central path and block off either side, but I think you're going to come into a lot of issues with enemies breaking out the side of it if you try that. So yeah, we'll go with this, and yeah, once you've leveled this stuff up, which is going to take a lot of metal, I appreciate that, come back and I'll show you the trap placement. So I'll see you shortly.
If you're enjoying the video so far, thank you so much for watching, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our members. Thank you so much to the current members we have, and just wanted to go over the tiers to anyone else that might be interested. So we have 5 tiers from Stonewood, Plankton, Canny, Twine, all the way up to Epic Founder, and as you can see on screen, we have these amazing benefits at each tier, getting more and more as you go up. So yeah, if anyone's interested, just look for the join button next to the subscribe button, and thank you so much for your time. Cheers, enjoy the rest of the video.
Wow, that was a lot of metal to level that stuff up. I just wanted to call this out that I've realised with this blockade here, the enemies could just drop down here and then come up the ramp. So this one down here, we want to move up here and block. We just, oops, might be metal. If we block the ramp like that, you can put one on the side as well, just to make sure they don't glitch through, but we can do the same sort of thing here, and yeah, that acts as the same. I think we can place traps while we're here, actually, so let's go ahead and put wall spikes here. I'm going to have to craft some more again, because, like I said, I don't really use wall spikes too much in this area. Ceiling electric field on the side, on the ceiling even. It is a ceiling trap, it is in the name. But yeah, I appreciate that's taken a lot of material. I think it's probably like 4 stacks of metal. And God, I haven't finished upgrading this stuff. There's always something I miss. So yeah, I appreciate it's a lot. You could probably strip back on some of the block offs here. Like, this is quite out of the way. These back pods here, you could probably get rid of. That corner one there as well, you could probably get rid of. And I appreciate this is a lot. Now, the 2 tunnels, as I said when building them, you can make them smaller if you want. So if you just have these as full walls all the way down and do broadsides, you'll save on these back ones. You can probably get rid of these blockades in the middle. And then the ceilings, if you want, just have tire drop trap down the middle, or even just have the ceiling flat here and do like gas with ceiling zappers towards the end. Feel free to do that. I have the infinite mat grinder, which, if you don't know about that, check out the video for that. It's linked in the description. But, I can get access to infinite metal very easily, so I might as well build crazy like this. But yeah, for the actual traps, what we're going to do is wooden floor spikes, and then we will do some freeze. And then we'll do 2 retractable, and then a tar pit at the end. Then if I go in this one, we'll do the same sort of thing. So tar pit, 2 retractable, and I'll just do 1 freeze, because this one is shorter than the other one. Make sure you're facing that way when you place the freeze, and then retractable floor spikes. Now, on the walls, obviously on all the low walls, we want wall dynamos. So if you get these placed on all of these, then on the far walls we want wall darts to shoot into the tunnels like that. Now, when I come to do my alt account in Canny, I'll probably redo these videos and, really test a more smaller design, broadsides on these two. But for the time being, we're going to stick with these. Now, we want wall darts on this back wall to shoot enemies as they come down the path, and then dynamos at the side to damage them as they fall down. Zap trap there, ceiling zapper even, I always call it the wrong thing. Tire traps all the way down here. Make sure you're facing the amplifier when you place them, as that will make the enemies stumble back into spawn. And then if we get them on all these as well. So I'll probably fast forward this, but pretty much just look at the amplifier while you place these ones. Apart from the ones over the blockades, just face the blockade when you place them, as it will knock them away from the blockade. And then just at the end here, we want a ceiling electric field above that, because not enemies are going to go on top of that, so tire traps wouldn't do anything. Now for this bit here, I appreciate you can probably get rid of this stuff, like it's probably not necessary, and it might get destroyed by spawns and whatnot anyway. And then on these walls, I'm just going to have to craft some more again. Get too many of these bad boys going. But yeah, I'll let you know if you need to put this back in for if you get issues, from enemies trying to break through. At the sides, I'd do it as well, and then you could put some here. I'm not sure you'd need it though, and you could put some down here, but we're going to have traps above, so I don't think you'd need, I'd maybe just go for this one at the side, because this is the more direct path. And then like here, for example, you could put a wall darts to shoot any enemies that are trying to break through. And then the traps up here, we can do some electric field on these ones. And then for these ones, some tire drop traps. Lovely stuff. I'd put a tire drop trap there as well, just to knock anything that does try break through there. Then over here, I would just do wall spikes on these two. If you do see resistance on these, obviously add wall spikes. I think maybe these two will be the ones, just because we have less built here. But the rest should be fine, so just go for these wall darts, which should shoot anything that tries to break through any of those. And we've got the drop traps above anyway, so that will do plenty there. And then at the sides here, we want ceiling electric field. As I say, if you need structures back, or you want to save on traps and stuff, just do a single ceiling and do it low, and do, gas or whatever you would prefer. Now we're just going to repeat the same sort of traps down here as we did at the other side. So dynamos on the low walls, then behind the dynamos, and at the end of the tunnel here, we'll do wall darts. So we'll have these shooting in. All of these. Like that. These two at the end, I mean, you could just do broadsides instead. It's a bit extra. But, it's up to you. Now for the center, we want our tire drop traps again. So all the way down. This will stumble the enemies. And then at the side, once again, as well as at the top of there, we'll do ceiling electric field to zap all of the enemies. If this was Plankerton, we could easily build less, but because it's Canny, we're getting to that sort of level where, the endurance... I missed one wall. We get to the sort of level where enemies get to high enough power level where they can do some real damage if you're not careful with them. Now down here, I'd probably just go for like a retractable, and then some broadsides at the sides. Not going to bother with that wall, to be honest. Probably not needed. This is just for mini-bosses and smashers, just to give a bit of extra damage at the end. And then we have the bait and switch for them anyway. So, yeah, that should be everything, I believe. Apologies for such a ridiculously over-the-top build for this. I try my best. I'll be, testing and trying to readjust this one, because this is way more than we ever built in Twine, I think. So, yeah, I appreciate you making it all the way through. Hopefully you aren't too angry with me for using so many structures, but please do let me know in the comments how you feel about it. Leave a like if you did enjoy, you found it useful, and obviously subscribe as always. Apologies for the massive build from the south direction. If you haven't seen that, check it out. But as an apology for using so much metal for that, we're going to do a super efficient build for this one, which will use barely any metal, I promise. Yeah, I promise. So, yeah, it's quite easy, this one, actually, because the spawn is down here, in this area down here, and there's only a few ways they can get up, but yeah, those directions are quite easy to defend for. So they've got this sort of route up here, but we have blocked this for our other build. So you might want to put, you know, some traps on this, which I appreciate. I forgot last time, so just pretend like that didn't happen. You can block off the bottom of this ramp as well if you want, but the spawn will just be behind the amplifier here. That you know, is optional. If you have this amplifier placed, which you think you can do. Yeah, we did it. We've done a build for this. If you have this amplifier, obviously you're not going to have a spawn for here, so you don't need this video, but if you want to watch for educational purposes, then feel free. Now, there's another route over here they could take, so through this little tunnel here, they could go up here, and this leads to where our bait is. So we need to make sure they can't come up here, so we're just going to block this tunnel, like so. And that should be plenty enough to stop anything from wanting to come through. Now, we'll build other blockades around here when we do the other amplifier. But just in case you don't have that, you know, you can... well, the blockade for this amplifier would be like this. Oops. A bit further out. Would be like this. You know, we want to stop enemies from coming up here. And you can put sort of cones behind these if you want, as an extra layer of blockade, but I really don't think you need it. The more important bit is this bit at the top. And for efficiency, as I said, to save, you know, structures, we're going to just leave it at that. Now, this is going to be the main path they come up, so this ramp up here, and you'll notice it's got this sort of ridged effect, which we've done in the past. So if you place a floor here, you'll notice that you can't walk up here without jumping. The husks can't jump, so make sure you get rid of that, otherwise you'll get issues with the enemies there. Now, what you can do is, well, we'll put a launcher on here, but what you can do to extend their path is have a nice thin wall there to make sure they get hit by the launcher, get sent down. You can damage them as they come up this ridged area. You know, you can have like dynamos on the sides there, we'll have traps above, all that good stuff. If you want, you can have traps on the ramps as we come up, but I'll probably do without. I don't know, I change my mind every time. No, you know what, for this one we'll go ahead and do it. It's only one. Then when you get up here, you'll want to limit them to come up one side of this ramp. So what we'll do is we'll sort of curve them like this, because then we can use wall launchers to send them back down and stuff. So you might want to get rid of that wall just to send them further. And what you can do instead is if you have a wall there, you can put wall darts on that one, and that will also connect to the ceiling, which will then extend out to spawn. As they come up here, you know, you can have more extensions if you want, like this, for example, and then one here. It's not overly necessary. The main important one is this one. Also block that side as well. So it's not too important to get that. And then as they come up this ramp, you know what, we'll build them up as well. Make sure at the side you're blocking this, so that enemies don't go in weird places and do weird stuff. As they come up, we can do damage like this, and if we do that, then when we have a wall launcher at the top here, they'll get sent out. You might want to put walls here just to make sure that enemies don't get lobbed out over here, for example, in like a weird scenario where they manage to make it over this. Not overly necessary though. I'll test it without, and I'll let you know how that goes. Once you get to the top, you can do dynamos at the side here, because we can do walls, you know, with stuff there flinging in, and you can do one there as well. The ceilings up here, we'll just do low. And then we can zap inwards with ceiling electric fields. Which is a bit over the top for these ones, but it's up to you. You can definitely keep those in. Get that for some wall darts and a dynamo. Then when we get to here, we probably want to wiggle them, zigzag them. So instead of having that for wall darts, we will just, oops, didn't mean to place that one. We will get them here and then, do this sort of thing. This wall here might trigger smashes, so at this point you can just leave it open. Now, for this bit, you might want to close this off to put wall darts on or something, but the wall darts here on this one will go through, so that will act for both of those. Get the ceiling closed, get to here with the ceiling, and then, yeah, from here, they will then go to the bait and switch if they are still alive, so you don't need to build any more than this. But what you can do if you want is you can either put a wall launcher here with having it a full wall, send them back to here, or if you want to do a low wall with extra damage, feel free to do that. You can do the same thing here as well. Have that as a low wall, have wall darts there, for example, and put a ceiling there for electric field. And yeah, let's make sure we're not messing with. There's a chance the smashers might fall on this, but I don't think they will. They should fall down there. Yeah, good stuff. I'd avoid placing it here. It's getting a bit close to the amplifier. We'll just leave that open from here. And yeah, this looks good. Only thing you might want to do is just add an extension here to make it so that they're more likely to get by this wall launcher. But as far as structures goes, that's all you need for that. You could add more blockages here, which sort of ties into the other side, the other direction. But we've got quite a lot there, so I really don't think you'd need any. But as far as the spawn traps go, we will put a ceiling up there. If I can just... I mean, I am a ninja, so I could just do that. Oh my god, this is so professional. Help! Someone help me! I'm having issues. I'm actually struggling. Not gonna lie. Alright, here we go. There we go. So yeah, apologies for that. Get the spawn traps like this all the way back here. No need to go any further back than this, but you can bring it this way as well. And then take it all the way up to, the blockade here. Now what you can do is add a block there, and just put walls in between. The reason we're not putting ramps is because this is sort of a double blockade, so it blocks that spawn for the other amplifier from coming around, and it blocks this spawn as well. The spawns end up breaking this wall here. I think this wall remained, but then they started breaking through it. So what I'd recommend for this is to just add some more, support behind this. You shouldn't need all this, but I'm just going over the top to make it absolutely clear to these husks that we do not want them breaking through. And then you can add one here as well. I didn't see any resistance on this side. They never tried to break through here, but it's just in case. It's always better safe than sorry. And you can even go as far as to put some more there. And if you really need to, if you really want to, you can add more at the back like this. But this is really over the top and shouldn't really be necessary. But I thought I'd just show you, just in case.
If you're enjoying the video so far, thank you so much for watching, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our members. Thank you so much to the current members we have, and just wanted to go over the tiers to anyone else that might be interested. So we have 5 tiers from Stonewood, Plankton, Canny, Twine, all the way up to Epic Founder, and as you can see on screen, we have these amazing benefits at each tier, getting more and more as you go up. So yeah, if anyone's interested, just look for the join button next to the subscribe button, and thank you so much for your time. Cheers, enjoy the rest of the video.
So if I can get back up to our ceilings up here, you might just want to extend that just to cover that one. And then this will go to here, extend this all the way back here, and cover that. You can cover this one as well, but it's not really that necessary because no enemy is going to walk there because we have these walls to sort of, you know, force them to go there. Only thing you might want to do is just cover this one like that. Reason being is to stop flingers and lobbers from being able to target the amplifier from this sort of area. They shouldn't be able to target it from down there, so this will act as your lobber shield as well as your spawn traps. So yeah, now that you've got that placed, we've already got the bait and switch built from the previous video, so if you haven't seen that, check it out. It will be towards the end of these structures. It should be tagged with, you know, a timeline, time stamp even. But yeah, basically all we're doing is just bringing them up and bringing them to the top of the amplifier, which acts as the bait for the smasher. They think it's protection for the amplifier. They go up and then they get knocked off, and they just keep repeating. Same with the mini boss, except the mini boss won't get knocked off by the light traps, but they will just mess around up there. So yeah, now that you got that stuff placed down, as you can see, we've only used 1,130 metal, which is far less than previous, so not quite small enough, I think, to be able to not fill up on metal again, but we'll only have to fill up once. So you're welcome for saving on this one. But yeah, get this stuff leveled up, as will I, and then I'll show you where to place the traps. So I'll see you shortly. Because we have the tire drop traps, I'm actually going to do damage on the ramps for those smashers and mini bosses. Because yeah, the tire drop traps are going to make them fall down anyway and slow down and stuff. For this area, we've got launchers set up, so I'm going to just use wooden floor spikes to slow the enemies. And then on this ramp, same logic, yeah, I'm going to use a damage retractable. So we've got all those stuff set up. This wants to be an impact launcher, but then on this one, we will do durability. And on this one, definitely durability. Yeah, for those enemies coming in. Because there'll be regular enemies more than, you know, high damage ones. So for this one, I'm going to do a ceiling zapper here. And then on this one, I'm going to do electric field. And then as they come up the ramp, and for the rest of them, we will do tire drop traps. Make sure you face in the direction I'm facing as I place them. And then for the spawn, all you need to do is just face the amplifier pretty much for all these. When it's next to a blockade, you want to face the blockade, as it will push them away from the blockade. Over the amplifier there, just leave it blank. You can put a tire drop trap if you want, but it's probably not going to do much because enemies can't walk there, so it's not going to really do anything. Ooh, I ran out of tire drop traps and placed a zapper. Let's get some more of those crafted. And let's replace this ceiling, so it's this one here. Hate when that happens. I should probably just craft loads more, but I'm running out of the twine, so I'm just... It doesn't take too long to get it with my farming build, which I'll be working on a video for that soon. Now this one up here, you're not going to affect anything with this. This is just for like, lobber and flinger shield, really. So yeah, I'm just going to go back up here real quick. Hope you guys don't mind, just to level that up, because I'm going to forget otherwise. It's not overly important, but yeah. Now on this ramp up here, you want to do a broadside on one side and then a sound trap on the other side to deal with those sploders. You can even get another one down here, for example, put another sound trap. Hello? Lets me place it, eventually. And when we are here, either damage or a stun, like you could do a light trap to stun the enemies, but I'm just going to go for a dynamo. This wants to be darts to shoot the enemies as they go up the ramp here, and then broadsides here. Broadside here. Now it might interact a bit weirdly with this wall, but don't worry about that, it's not too important. And then I'm going to do dynamo there, and then I think that covers all of them. The only thing you might want to do is put wall spikes on these with the healing attribute. Probably not overly necessary, we have quite a lot of stuff, you know, over there, but just in case, just to stop, you know, weird stuff going on. But yeah, that should be everything you need then. So yeah, that's quite a short one, thankfully. We've had quite a lot of long ones here in Canny. But yeah, I appreciate you making it through the video. Hopefully you have found it useful. Obviously, if you've used it to build your endurance build, then you definitely did. So drop me a like, comment, and subscribe for that. You know, definitely show some appreciation. But thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you in a future video. So thank you so much, and I will see you later.